Welcome all to the weekly outlook. Brian here from EWPRO. Getting straight into the weekly outlook, starting with the DXY on the daily. We're not sure what's going on in here. I was looking for that A, B, C, and then more upside. That didn't play out. So we're just looking at this internal piece in here. So we've got a WXY, looking for that X2 and then the Z up. Like I said last week, this can get up to, this wave in here may not be over, and it may even get up to this 161.8 or even higher. We don't know where this wave will end. But we're waiting for that X2, and then we can trade that Z up, unless you're going to scalp on the lower time frames up to this 161.8. Looking at the H4, we got this WXY, and then we were looking for an X2 and then a Z up. This turned into a larger correction in here. So we just got the WXY up, and we're looking at an A, B, C. Is this over here? And that's the end of wave C. Well, it's possible. If we go down onto the lower time frames to see if there's anything we can trade. See, there's nothing really we can trade. No setup that I can really see. We got a lower low on the MACD and a lower low. This may be bear hidden here, so you know we may just get something like this and then come and break that low. It's very, very difficult to trade because this is a contracting flat, right? Contracting flats are virtually impossible to know if it is. So you get an A, B, C. You're never going to know if that's complete. It could be a triangle, you know. So I'd be staying out of this until something clear comes along. And so really what you'd need is you need some sort of a bullish setup to buy. You know, you got a nice impulse up, but you have to be careful because we do have that possible bear hidden. Looking at AU on the daily. Just remove that. So we're looking at that WXY, got the X2 and the Z down to the first target, 123.6. And like I said, we lost that bullish divergence. So I'm sort of just looking for a correction in here before we get more downside. On the H4, we got bearish divergence. We got 3 up, 1, 2, 3 up with bearish divergence. So you can look for, you know, trend line break, bearish setup, and a lower low to go and break this low to give us that bullish divergence that we're after before you can look for the longer term buy. On the H1, I did put out a trading view idea during the week, if you follow me on trading view. So we're looking for that A, B, and we're looking for that C up. It didn't get up to the first target, but I got a few pips out of it. So we got the higher high. H1, we never got the bearish divergence. So again, we may still get a bull hidden here and a higher high. So you really want to wait for this low to be broken, come down here, and then give you the correction, and then look for your setup to sell. EU on the daily. So again, this is pretty similar to DXY. We'll look at this internal. We didn't get that C up like I was looking for, A, B, C up in here. and then the larger A, B, C. That didn't play out. So we're looking at this internal wave. We've got a WX. We're still in this wave Y. This still may not be over. But then we'll be looking for that X2 and then a Z down. H4. We're looking for that W, X, Y, X2, and then that Z down like I showed last week. Again, is this a contracting flat? You know, this may be a contracting flat, and that's the end of wave C. It didn't get up to my target. I was looking for that 100 pip, you know, just an A, B, C up to the 100 pip, but never got there. And we're getting this impulse down now. So is this a contracting flat? You know, it's possible that it is. Again, we have a possible bull hidden here. So you really need to wait, break this low, then look for your correction, and then you could look for the sell. You really have to wait for this. Break of this low, a correction, and then look for the sell. GU on the daily. Excuse me. So we're looking at that WXY. We got down just very close to that 100 pip. We've lost all the bullish divergence, like I've mentioned in the previous videos, and this may not be over. This wave Y may get down to this 161.8 before we get that X2 and then a Z down. This is where it gets a little bit trickier on the H4. We got that, excuse me, A, B, C, and we got the bullish divergence. So last week we were looking for the buy. You sort of had a very deep correction in here, you know, for an A, B, C, or WXY. Yeah, we were sort of targeting a buy up to this 50 fib here. But it hasn't got there. On the H1, we don't have any bearish divergence, and again we have this possible bull hidden. So, you know, until this low here gets broken, you really can't sell it, you know, because you may just get another one in here and then a buy set up and go and break the top. So you really have to wait for something you can trade before you can trade it, and you're only scalping. You know, like I said last week, we're coming into Christmas and we're going to have low volumes while everyone's on holidays, and low volumes means we're going to have possibly big moves, erratic moves in the market. Looking at NU on the daily, again, we're looking at that WXY. Like I said last week, there's so many different ways we can look at this, because we can look at it as 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and then we get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 down in here for a 3, 3, 5 pattern, and then we get one up in here for A, B, C, and then we get a A, B, C in here. So that's a possible scenario. Or this is finished and we go up and break the top. I don't believe it's finished. We don't have any bullish divergence. So, you know, I think we will get more downside after a correction. If we look at H4 last week, we were looking for that Z down. So we're looking at WXY. We were looking for a correction and we're looking for that Z down. Sort of looking for that 38.2 to give us a risk reward. It never got there. but it looks like we got a flat in here for an A, B, C in here. So if you do get a little flag in here on the H1, you can look for that Z down. UY on the daily. So we're looking at that. Well, we've actually lost the divergence on this one. So we were looking at an A, B, C up to this 100 fib. It never got to the 100 fib, and we lost our bearish divergence. So there is still chance of more upside. Why this trend line here holds, you can still look for buys to go and break this top. On the H4, we got that Z up, we got the WXY, X2, Z up, giving us a bearish divergence. We got the lower low. So like I said last week, we can only really look for sells. So we're looking for an A, B, and a C. Now, is this in here over? Well, we'll have to look on the lower time frame. So it may be over because we do have a lower low here. But again, we have a lower low here. But again, it's price action is not giving us the correction like we'd like. You know, we'd just like a little flag or something in here to give us a sell. Instead, we've got this impulse up. So it's not really giving you the setup to sell. So you really have to wait for that setup to sell to give us that C down on the H4. The Swissy on the daily. So we're looking at that A, B. We're looking for that internal C down before we get that larger C up. It's playing around in here. Again, like I said last week, well, the last few weeks, you know, we've got that possible bull hidden. So it makes it difficult. It's sort of A, B, C up in here. But we didn't get that bearish setup to trade, to get us into the trade. So it's quite risky. You know, it's quite risky to, there's no real setup on it. That's the problem. It's not giving us the setups to sell. And I'm only really looking for that sell, like what we're looking for on the daily structure. We're looking for this down in here, this internal C down. So trade with caution if you're trading it. It's not giving us a clear setup. Looking at UCAD on the daily, so we've got an A. Whatever's happening in here is a B, and then we'll get the C up to that 100 pip. I'm looking for that 100 pip. Now, is that over there? It's possible that that's over there. I believe we do have a higher high. Not sure if we have a higher high on this platform. No, we didn't break the high on this platform, or with this broker or an IDA, but I believe we did on my broker. Either way, really need to go down to the lower time frames. We are looking for that 100 fib, like I've mentioned for quite some time. Last week we were looking for W, X, Y, X2, and then a Z up. We had the bull hidden, and we went up and broke that top. Now this may still be a flat in here. for an X2. So we get a W, X, Y, X2, and then a Z up. So there may still be some more upside in it. You'd have to wait for a trade setup to buy. So you'd need to look for a little flag or a correction before you could look for the buy. GY on the daily. So we've got that W, X, Y, X2, Z up to the 123.6. Then we got the trend line break. So we're just looking for a correction in here, some sort of correction. And then look, we're targeting that 50 pip retracement of this whole move. On the H4, again, we got the bullish divergence. Like I mentioned last week, we've got an A, B, C down to the 100 pip, but bounced off that 100 pip. We got the bullish divergence as well. So we're just looking for a correction in here. If we get that correction, then we can all look for that sell for more downside. At this stage on the H1, you can only look for the buy. We have this possible bull hidden. We don't have any bearish divergence. So you really need to wait. If you're looking for the sell, you need to break this low here, then give you the correction or flag, and then look for the sell. So you need to wait for your setup. EG on the daily. This is really getting very complicated. EG on the daily. We've got a W, X, Y, X2, Z down to this 123.6. Then we had a bear hidden here, and we got a lower low. Now we got a higher high. It's getting very choppy down the bottom. We're coming to an end. I'm only looking for buys, but it's not really giving us what we're looking for, the buy setups. So H4, like I've been mentioning the last few weeks, we lost our bullish divergence, which made it hard. Then we got a higher high. So we're looking at an A, whatever's happening in here is a B, and then we look for that C up. So you really, again, you need to wait for a bullish setup. Need to wait for some sort of a bullish setup on the lower time frames. H1, we're starting to get bullish divergence. So we're starting to get bullish divergence in here. But again, very tricky. We have bullish divergence. We got a trend line break, and it's come, price action has come straight back under the trend line. So that's a red flag, you know. You really have to wait for a nice setup to buy. Gold on the daily. This has become very complex as well. If you go back on in my trading view ideas, I put out a trading view idea around here somewhere for the weekly. And I said, if you go back and look, you know, we're going to be in a correction for a couple of years. And this is pretty much what's happening. It's become very complex. We're looking at an A, B, C. We never got that C up. So we're looking at 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and then possible 5 down. That never played out, or hasn't played out yet. It's a possibility. But like I've been saying for the last couple of weeks, you know, this can be an A, B, C in here. And this is the way I'm actually looking at it. If you go back through my video last week, we're looking for that buy. So on the H4, we had that A, B, C, bounced off that 100 pip. So I was thinking, yep, we're going to go. We got one down, but then we got this bullish divergence in here. And so we had the bullish divergence, and now we got a nice impulse up. So any correction or flag up here, look for that buy to at least break this top here. Ideally, it'll go and break that top, but we want it to at least break that top there. So if you get any buy set up, look for the buy. WTI on the daily. So we've got this WXY, X2, Z up, just about hit the second target, the 161.8. And then we got this nice impulse down. But again, the problem is we got the trend line break, but we have this possible bull hidden. So there's nothing to say that this won't go up and break that top. We really needed it to go and break that low to take out the possible bull hidden before we could look to a sell. So it's still rather bullish because we have that possible bull hidden. And we were looking for, on the H4, a WXY, an X2, and then a Z down. That is still possible. We do have a possible bear hidden here. But again, on the daily, we have that possible bull hidden. And looking at current price action, we got an impulse up, and this is looking rather corrective. So, you know, whatever happens in here, you know, if you get that trend line break, bullish setup, well, then you can look for that buy to go and break the top. Bitcoin on the daily. So we got the Z up, but again, we're getting all these bull hiddens. So, like I've been saying for weeks and weeks, we can look at a WXY, X2, and then a Z up to complete this Z. And it's still possible that we can get that Z up, or a Z up, internal Z up. We have that bull hidden. Looking at the H4, it's getting very difficult because we don't have any bullish divergence. And this is looking very bullish in here. So you have to be very careful because, you know, if you do take this, you want to wait for your setup. And then as soon as this top here gets broken, you'll want to move it to break even, because there is that possible that we do get another one down in here as some sort of larger flat. So when this top gets broken, move it to break even, and you'll be looking to break that top, you know, if you're looking for that buy. SPX. So we got a high. We got a high here. We'll getting bearish divergence. So eventually, like I've been saying for ages, we're looking for a larger correction eventually, you know, back to the 50 fib. When that correction happens, we just don't know. This trend line, why this trend line here holds, you know, we'll probably get more upside. I'm not really looking for the buys, like I've been saying for ages, you know, unless you're scalping the lower time frames. It's very difficult. You're buying at a top. I'm only really looking for the longer term sells. On the H4, we got all this big chop in here, like I've been saying. And then we got a trend line break. We got a little flag in here, never went. And, you know, it's very difficult to trade. So we sort of got 1, 2, 3 up in here. we do have bearish divergence. So if you're scalping this, and you're really only just scalping it, you can, if you get a little bearish setup, you know, you can look for the sell. Watch out for the trend line. Yeah, it's very difficult, but it's more for the experienced traders trading these. AU200 on the daily. Again, this is, we've got a lot of bearish divergence. We've got a trend line break. And we're looking for a correction for more downside. There was that possible a while back, you know, there's that possible bull hidden, and you know, it may still play out, you know, we just don't know. But looking at the H4, like I've been saying, we're looking at this as an A, B, C in here, and then we've got that A, B, C. So we're looking at that as the top, and then we're looking for that A, B, C. This one here never went and broke the low, so it's become very difficult. We didn't have any bullish divergence. Here we've got a higher high, so you can only look for the buy, like I said last week, and we're still in this correction. So you're waiting for a trend line break, and we're going to look at this as an ABC. This is looking corrective, so you can wait for your buy setup. You know, whatever happens in here, wait for your trend line break, bullish setup, and then you could look for the buy to break that top. Looking at the DAX on the daily, again, we got the Z up, W, X, Y, X2, Z up, hit the first target. We got the trend line break, but like I said last week, price actually comes straight back above the trend line, which is a red flag. Now, I do believe we have bull hidden here. We never broke the low. So there is a possibility we've got the bull hidden, possible bull hidden. So this can go up and break the top. On the H4, this is looking rather, last week, I believe I was looking for an A, whatever's happening in here is a B, and then a C down, and that is still possible. We still can get an A, B, C. This is looking bullish in here. So, you know, you could scalp the buy. Definitely want to be a break even there, and you could target the top for that possible bull hidden. It's more for the experienced traders. You really need a nice setup. It's something that I would stay out of. It's not clear, but you know, you could look for the buy. Definitely want to be at break even there, because it may just give you, break that top, come down, give you a bearish setup for the A, B, C. All right. So yeah, if you're trading it, you're pretty much just scalping, and you're monitoring your trades if you're trading it. The FTSE on the daily. So we got that W, X, Y, X2, Z up to the second target. We're looking for that larger move down. It's not giving it at this stage. So like I said last week, you can only look for buys here. We got the higher high. We didn't have the bullish divergence, which makes it very difficult. I was looking for that W, X, Y, X2, Z down, and then we could look for that buy. Instead, it's just giving us a wave wide down. We got the higher high. So you really need 3 down in here, a correction, and then look for your buy setup to buy and break the top. So I hope you enjoyed the weekly outlook this week. Enjoy your weekend, and I'll see you out there next week.